Education Workers Union TEWU will update you on the meeting and the impact of the strike.
Also, this our Independent Power Producers Chamber warns of shutdown of 3 plants over debts owed by the Electricity Company of Ghana.
With 17 days to the December 7 polls, the Ghana Federation of Disability Organizations is expected to meet the Electoral Commission to advocate for greater electoral inclusion for persons with disabilities.
You're welcome to News Central. I'm Kemini Amano.
And I am Mawina Egbeta. The bulletin starts right now.
The National Labour Commission is this afternoon meeting striking members of the Teachers and Education Workers Union, TEWU. The NLC is exercising its powers pursuant to Section 139 of the Labour Act 651, which directs parties to appear for hearing on the issues in dispute. The NLC had last week directed TEWU to stay the intended strike, but the union went ahead Monday, November 18th, to strike. TEWU's indefinite strike is over what the union says is the prolonged delay in concluding signing and implementation of conditions of service for Ghana Education Service, Ghana Museums and Monuments Board, and public technical and universities. Judge Queenan is following this story. He is at the Labour Commission where this meeting is expected to take place. He's joining us now with the very latest on this matter. Judge, good afternoon to you. What can you report this afternoon? I would have to give George another try. We understand that the National Labour Commission this afternoon is meeting TEWU. TEWU has been on strike since November 18th. George is sniffing around that meeting. He'll join us in a tad for a bit more on the latest on the story. In the meantime, let's take a listen to General Secretary of TEWU.
Our concerns are very, very simple. Every worker in this country has a document that we call the conditions of service that guides the employment contract, and these documents are normally signed by the union representatives and that of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission on behalf of government and the union leaders on behalf of our members. And so this condition of service that we are talking about, our major condition of service for the Ghana Education Service expired in 2020. In fact, it will be recalled that 2022, the same procedure that we are going to happen when we were due to review our condition of service in 2022, after it has expired, we came and this same thing happened that we should come to the Labour Commission. We came after that one, we have not been able to sit with the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. And November 2024, the expired condition of service is due to expire again. So we are here, and that of the public universities also expired since 2018. As of 2019, 2008, as of 2019, we had even concluded on 22 items on the condition of service. And we signed a memorandum of understanding. And the same thing that we are today, we are going back through the same thing. And so it is like a deliberate discrimination against the teachers and educational workers union, both in the Ghana Education Service and both in the public universities and public technical universities. Because our sector, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, have some conditions of service for the teacher unions in the Ghana Education Service. They signed that of the public universities, both for the lecturers and the senior members. When we come to the Ghana Library Board and the Museums and Monuments Board, in fact, that is just if the simple issue that we are talking about. Their numbers are less than 1,000 members, And then they are going through a lot of stress, and they are just asking for some allowance. That is just one item, a 15% salary allowance that everybody is benefiting. Even the closer people have got 18%, and we are.
Well, now we can go to the offices of the Labour Commission where the meeting is expected to take place. George Quainin is there for us. George, good afternoon to you. What have you heard so far from that meeting?
Thanks for having me. Actually, the meeting was supposed to start at 11, but well, till now it has not started. And the leadership of TEWU are already here, and I saw the executive director of NLC also here. But hopefully, maybe the next few minutes, the meeting will start. But before that, I engaged the leadership of TEWU, and for them, they are going into this meeting with a positive mindset, a mindset that in the next 5 days, government will come up with something creative timeline for them, because at the end of the day, there's some sort of growing dissatisfaction among members. They've been pursuing this conditions of service for a very long time. And what they cannot really phantom is the fact that some teacher unions are enjoying what they have been pursuing for a long time. So they feel this is some sort of discrimination against their members. And so this is what it is. They are giving the NLP 5 working days to come up with feasible timelines, fully ensure that at the end of the day, they will all be comfortable.
George, I lost you for a little bit. Were you saying that the meeting is late or has been called off?
The meeting has not started. It was supposed to start at 11 a.m., but till now it has not started. But leadership of TEWU is here, and I've seen the executive director of NLC also here. So hopefully, in the next few minutes, it will start. But the leadership of TEWU is going into this meeting with some sort of renewed and positive mindset. And they're giving the NLC or government 5 working days to come up with tentative timelines. So at the end of the day, there's this growing dissatisfaction amongst members. They've been pursuing this for a very long time. But
absolutely, we heard from the General Secretary of TEWU, but give us a reminder of the concerns of TEWU that led to the strike.
So it's the conditions of service. So what the General Secretary told me is the fact that when we talk about conditions of service, it's not all about monetary aspects. It's their contracts and all that. Some of them have expired. So it's just that members of the Ghana Education Service, Ghana Library Authority, some public universities and tertiary universities staff need their contracts to be renewed. So that's basically what it is. It's not really monetary, as people always think when you hear conditions of service. And even if it's monetary, it will not really break the public purse. It's something minute. But 90% is non financial, but the others a bit financial. But these are their concerns: conditions of service, having their contract extended and all that, and maybe maternal leave and all those should be revised. That's exactly what they are seeking.
I see. And we know that it's day 3 of their meeting. It's day 3 of their strike. Their first meeting with the Labour Commission since they called off the strike. What is the position of the Labour Commission also, from what you have gathered so far, going into this meeting?
So actually, I was supposed to speak to the executive director, Mr. Aboso, before speaking to TEWU, but again, actually in the meeting with some of the employees of these institutions like the Ghana Library Authority and that of the museums and monuments about this. He's a meeting with them at the center. So he's trying to engage them before he speaks to the members. So basically, what I can preempt is the fact that they want this very strike ended, and maybe they can meet them halfway, if not 100%, they can meet them halfway, which will ensure that they end this very strike.
I see. George, we'll leave it here. Thank you so much. George Quainin joined us from the National Labour Commission, where TEWU and the Commission is expected to meet over TEWU's strike action, which is entered day 3. We can now bring you some political stories from your election command center.
To politics, like has been rightly mentioned, and Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman is urging voters in the Upper West region to choose an NDC government in the December election. The NDC vice presidential candidate has called for change in government come December. On her first day of tour in the region, the NDC's running mate said choosing the NPP again will only continue to destroy the economy.
The NDC vice presidential candidate began her campaign in the Upper West region from the Wana's palace. The Wana, through his secretary, applauded the team for campaigning based on issues. He asked for the Wa municipality to be elevated to a metropolitan one if the NDC wins power in December. Professor Nana Jane Opoku Ajiman noted their concerns, adding, the NDC is not like their opponents who refuse to send developments to areas that they do not win elections there. From here, the team proceeded to Koro and Hamele in the Lambuse constituency. Here, the parliamentary candidate, Professor Titus Beyo, assured the party that they will recapture the seat which was taken over by the NPP in 2020.
Opponents are always scared when we are united, and you can see the unity demonstrated here. We are having our two former MPs all present, and they are actively involved in the campaign and leading the campaign for us in the nook and cranny of this constituency. And that gives me confidence that we are certainly taking this seat back.
Professor Nana James stressed the need to change government this time around.
Any country, no matter what you have, if you don't train your youth properly, if you don't educate them well, somebody was saying, oh, if you cancel the double track, some children will not go to school. Said who? All the 350 schools they promised to build, we are waiting for them. Even those we started, they didn't finish. So my brothers, my sisters, my children, my friends, we have a chance now to change things. Here is the same.
At London constituency, Professor Nana Jane and the team urged the people not to be deceived by goodies their opponents would offer them, but vote for John Mahama and the NDC parliamentary candidate, Richard Kuire. The team also campaigned in Laura constituency, asking the people to vote massively for the NDC for development. Evelyn Tengma, TV3 News, Hamele.
And we're going to Evelyn right now because the NDC's vice presidential candidate is in the Sisala West constituency as part of a two-day tour of the Upper East region. Let's touch base with her right now for the very latest. Evelyn, talk to us about what Prof has been telling the people of Sisala West. Well, it does appear the connection has not been so favorable thus far. But we can switch camps and take you to the camp of the NPP, where the wife of the party's flag bearer, Hajia Samira Bawumia, is still on the campaign trail across the country. Now, she's been addressing residents of Kintampo at a rally where she's been speaking fondly of her husband, Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia.
As part of her Bono East regional campaign tour, the Vice President's wife, Samira Bawumia, visited Kintampo North and South constituencies to solicit votes. With focus on Zongo communities, Hajia Samira interacted with Fulanis as well as other tribes from the north. Addressing the crowd at the Zongo and inner city area of Kintampo, Samira Bawumia said her husband's good character makes her the best person to lead Ghana and charged them to give him a chance.
My friends, if you want to give power to someone, you have to look at his character. You all know Dr. Bawumia, but I am his wife. I know him better. Give him the steering wheel so he can steer the affairs of the country.
She further appealed to residents to vote for the MPP parliamentary candidate for Kintampo North, Isaac Bafo Amiyao, to partner Dr. Bawumia in developing the area.
We are in power, but Kintampo is in opposition. He will tell you his father is not president. His father won't be president. Dr. Alhaji Bawumia will be the president.
Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia beba be di president. Inti wonsuma neba kola nonko noni ne meye juma eba.
The NPP parliamentary candidate Isaac Bafwamiao urged voters to look beyond party affiliation.
And so, chiefs and everyone, if you vote and want development on 7 December, citizens of Kintampo North should not vote because of political affiliations, but for the development of the community.
That's the wife of the NPP flag bearer. Let's return to the NDC's vice presidential candidate. I mentioned my colleague Evelyn Tengma is journeying with her across the country. She is at the Sisala West constituency right now. Let's touch base with my colleague Evelyn Tengma. Evelyn, just briefly talk to us what the campaign has looked like on day 2.
Yeah, so Mawena, on day 2, Prof has just arrived at the community in Sisala West constituency called Sobele, where she's just about to address the gathering. But before that, the chiefs and the people did ask some developmental projects from her if the party is voted into power. And so they mentioned their road infrastructure especially, and then the fact that Professor Nana Jane is a woman, and so if she becomes vice president, she should be able to address the concerns of women, especially rural women, and they are asking for share nut machines and beef machines so that they will be able to process all these things because they are basically prolific farmers here in their community. And so this one, and of course, in terms of education, they are asking for a institution here in Sobele and of course in the Sisala West constituency. And so Prof is just addressing them, and she is and asking that the people to vote as all these concerns for the winner.
Right then, Evelyn, many thanks. That's my colleague Evelyn Tengma in the Sisala West constituency of the Upper West region. It will take us into Constituency Watch.
We'll take you to Talensi constituency in the Upper East region, which is one of the seats that will be keenly contested by new faces from both the NDC and NPP, even alongside the PNC's Dr. Michael Wobengo, who has been contesting the seat since 2008. Now, Upper East Region correspondent Tanko Mohammed Rabiu interacted with the 3 candidates to gauge their chances of winning the seat.
The Talensi constituency in the Upper East region is located in the mountainous settlements known for its rich rock deposits, attracting millions of tourists from across the world each year. The area is also home to large gold deposits, with numerous licensed small and large-scale mining companies investing in the region. Historically, the Talensi constituency has been a National Democratic Congress stronghold since 1992, with former Information Minister John Tia winning the seat for 5 terms. However, in 2012, former MP and now Paramount Chief of the Talensi traditional area, Nab Kogbel Song Nalek Benteng, won the seat on the ticket of the New Patriotic Party. He resigned as MP after being made chief, serving only 2.5 years in his first term. BT Baba, who won the famous 2015 by-election, went on to win the 2016 and 2020 elections. But he decided not to contest the NDC primaries this year, paving the way for a new candidate, Daniel Dang Mahama, to represent the NDC in this year's parliamentary elections. The governing New Patriotic Party has also fielded a new candidate, Robert Anyina Naba Alibo, who will contest the December 7 polls. The third candidate is veteran People's National Convention contestant, Dr. Michael Wobengo, who has been contesting the seat since 2008. The news team interacted with the candidates to hear about their campaigns and their chances of taking over from BT Baba.
What Talensi NDC have done for talents when it comes to education, water irrigation, farming, and student support. NDC have done a lot. Water, within where he also lives, he knows what NDC have done. And besides that, if he's talking about track record, I don't know the one that you are referring to.
Parliament is a forum where we do a lot of talking, and your voice must be heard so your community can get whatever share of the national cake that requires for its development. I want the Talents people to look into these matters and see which of us gives them the best of representation.
We are challenged by a lot of gaps, but given the opportunity and given the nod, I will team up with the district assembly and with all the resources and the good people that we have in Talensi to give Talensi a facelift.
In the 2020 elections, the NDC won the seat with 16,651 votes, representing 45%. The MPP polled 13,033 votes, representing 35.73%, while the PNC secured 6,791 votes, representing 18.62%. A total of 74,072 registered voters are expected to cast their ballots in this year's elections in the Talensi constituency.
That's Constituency Watch taking us on our first break. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
My life wasn't always like this. I worked in a bank and had money in bonds to cushion me for the future.
related matters, where the Ghana Federation of Disability Organizations are this afternoon meeting with the Electoral Commission to advocate for greater electoral inclusion for persons with disability ahead of the December 7 general elections. The meeting is aimed at assessing the EC's current provisions for persons with disability and to present key recommendations that will ensure a more accessible and inclusive electoral process. Let's get a bit more from Matthew Ano-Kodom, who is the National President of the Ghana Society of the Physically Disabled. He's joining us via phone right now. Thank you very much, sir, for speaking to us. We have a sense of what this meeting is about, but provide for us a bit more clarity. Is it the case that from where you stand, all is not well for you as persons with disability in being able to exercise your electoral rights come December 7?
Yeah, thank you very much. I will say greetings to your cherished listeners and viewers. This has been a routine, and every time it's getting to election, Electoral Commission disability desks will engage persons with disability across the length and breadth of Ghana. But it's like this year, we have less than 18 days to election, and the Electoral Commission has not done the needful. So we persons with disability, we saw it being prudent to invite them into our tentacle to be able to digress with them to know the processes, whether how we are going to vote this time, there is any differentiation compared to previous, and now the category of disability that we have, how accessible the process is going to be for them. So we have invited them to attend our meeting today to brief us on the election process.
That means the meeting is still yet to take off. What will be the expectations of you? Because off the top of my head, I know that persons who are challenged with sight, they were supposed to be provided with certain brailles and other necessary equipment which will aid voting, being able to identify the candidate and their respective positions. That had not been done just as yet. What will be the expectation really going into this meeting?
We are expecting that, especially when the Ghana Freedom Party flag bearer dies, how our members who are going to use the tactile ballot are going to assess the process without maybe letting their vote count and count well. So that's why we are calling on the Electoral Commission to come and take us through the whole election process. And this time we have a category of persons with disability who are armless and legless. And last elections, there were complaints that presiding officers were not trustworthy, because some of them, they saw that when they see the one party A, before they realized they didn't see that it's truly the party A that they voted for. So they were something like they don't believe them. So this time we want to see if Electoral Commission will accept all those things and maybe allow those people, their representatives, to enter into the ballot and vote for them, so that this is not going to create any problem at any polling station or an area where election process is going on. So we are going to digress a lot with them.
And we'll look forward to the meeting, but do you know who is supposed to be meeting you and to be facilitating this process?
Normally, Electoral Commission has a disability desk officer, and we think that is the officer who is going to engage us with any of the deputies, because there is going to be a lot of questions and maybe issues, and we want them to address it, because once they address it, we will communicate to our entire membership that this is how they will go, and we don't want them to go and face any challenges when they are about to vote.
Right then. And so just briefly, you say a lot later this afternoon. Do we know when specifically they'll meet you?
Actually, we are already seated and we are waiting on them to come. We used to close work on 5 p.m. So from now to 5 p.m., anytime we are expecting them to be there. And now we are having meeting, but anytime they enter into our meeting hall, you will pause for them to take maybe an hour or two to brief us on the processes.
Right then, Mr. Kodom, thank you very much for speaking to us. That's Matthew Kodom. He speaks for the disability or persons who are physically challenged, who are expecting to be meeting the Electoral Commission to provide a bit more education for them just some 17 days through the general elections.
Political party agents earlier today arrived at the Central Regional Police Command in Cape Coast to receive and record details of the presidential ballot papers packed in well-zipped bags with the inscription of the names of the constituencies. Representatives of the various political parties recorded the serial numbers of the ballot papers. Both the NDC and NPP reps expressed satisfaction with the process. For more on the story, we're joined by our regional correspondent, Thomas Khan. Thomas, good afternoon to you. What else happened at this inspection?
So, Kevin, the representatives of the political parties have been here this morning all to receive the ballot papers for the presidential elections come December. And they have been expressing satisfaction about the process so far. And according to them, the details that were provided to them by their national executives, that is concerning the serial numbers and everything that they need to record, what they received tallies with exactly what was given to them. And so far, they are sure that if things are going to go this way, the 2024 elections are going to be very smooth, and that is what they are hoping it comes out at the end of the day.
I see. Let's talk about the campaigns generally in the central region. What would you say is going on as far as those campaigns are concerned?
Well, I would say that both of the NPP and the NDC, they have been campaigning very rigorously because they have in mind that central region really plays a major role in deciding who becomes the next president of Ghana. So both of them are not leaving any stone unturned. They are campaigning very vigorously. For instance, the NPP, they are bent on increasing or winning more seats in the central region, including the most talked about recently, the Aguna West seat, which is currently being occupied by Cynthia Morrison, who is going as an independent candidate. According to the regional secretary, Richard Getchment, they are focused on winning that Aguna West seat by using their own candidates, that is Chris Atta, as the NPP candidate. They are rallying and doing everything to support him to win the seat, to maintain the seat in Aguna West. So they are saying they are not focused on whatever is happening between the party and Cynthia Morrison. They have done everything possible to get her to retain her decision, but she is bent on going as an independent candidate.
I see, Thomas. We also understand that the Central Regional Command is meeting with members of the press today. What can you tell us about that?
Well, the Regional Command met with the media a while ago, and they have been calling on the media for collaboration to ensure that the upcoming election comes out very successful and peaceful. According to the regional commander, he says that the media plays a major role, and then he's calling on the media to be expect about their reportage, especially areas where there are political tensions. He thinks that the media will play a major role in ensuring there is peace. So he's called for the media to do fact-checking before they put out any information out there.
Thomas Khan, thank you so much for talking to us. Thomas Khan is our Central Region correspondent.
And let's switch our focus from the elections to energy, because Herbert Cropper will lead Ghana's energy ministry in the last days of the Akufo-Addo government as threats of a return of load shedding hangs over the sector. Herbert Krapper, who's been serving as Minister of State in charge of energy at the presidency, is, according to the latest statement, which is reassigning him, continue to lead the transformation of the country's energy sector. That sector, however, is debt-ridden and continues to face significant challenges despite continuous government assurance. The latest is by President Akufo-Addo, who, during the commissioning of a plant, promised to end the recent challenges within the sector.
Recognize the contributions of independent power producers who have invested significantly to support our energy needs. These partners have been instrumental in enhancing our power capacity. My administration is committed to addressing the financial obligations impacting our ability to meet obligations to these valued partners. Together, we will build a sustainable, reliable energy future. We celebrate the dawn of a new era in Ghana's energy journey, one filled with strength, resilience, hope, and promise. Let us ensure that the Bridge Power Station remains a beacon of Ghana's vision, a shining testament to what we can accomplish when united for the common good.
So that's President Akufo-Addo, who's been providing the latest assurance in terms of restructuring of debt within the energy sector, and also the fact that they are seeking to make payments to the independent power producers. Well, they've been responding, and according to the CEO of the independent power producers, Dr. Electral Apetogbo, that is not really the case. Let's try and bring you responses he's been providing to the media in recent times. And this directly had to do with what the situation is in relation to the country's energy sector. And this is why he raises the alarm that if nothing is done by the end of the week, based on some $259 million of debt owed the IPPs, we're expecting that 3 key power plants will shut down. Now, amongst other things, he has said that they are expecting, amongst many other things, some interventions from government, which has to do with renegotiation of the IPP's debt. We know that there's been figures bandied about $2 billion. Government says it's less than $2 billion and the likes. He sought to respond to that and saying that for them, they are up to date with the numbers as to what is owed them in with respect to the debts by the government. Now, government, he say, does not know how to account for the power sector figures, and so they don't have to, or they're asking the public not to trust the figures coming from government. And here's where we'll provide a bit more details for you in relation to other details that's been provided by the Energy Ministry. Because a month ago, the Finance Minister, amongst many other things, announced that they had made progress with renegotiating debt owed a number of the IPPs, which will mean that Sunon Asogli, AXA, and the likes were renegotiating the debts which were hanging over the energy sector, which will mean that government is making progress in that regard. Well, he's been responding to that particular statement, and he says that he's made it clear that these statements that the energy minister made were political, and that he cannot produce any agreement that he has signed with any independent power producers. He says that if the minister has any of such, they should share it with the public, detailing really the struggles of the country's energy sector. And that really is a situation, and that's what's on your screen right now, what we got a month ago from the finance minister when he addressed that news conference in faraway New York, where he, amongst many other things, detailed progress made with regards the country's renegotiation of debt with the IPPs. And so with AXA, the energy, or the finance minister, I should say, Dr. Amin Adam, stressed that they had agreed a renegotiation with AXA Power, with Senate Power as well. Renegotiation had been agreed with Amandi. They were awaiting parliamentary approval. Same for Senate Power as well. And then Car Powership, the agreement was, or the negotiation was ongoing, and same for Sunon Asogli, because he announced that they had returned to the negotiation table All of that appears not to have happened, according to the latest from the CEO of the Independent Power Producers. A lot more for you in terms of analysis subsequently, but let's now bring you Regional Hub.
Now, Member of Parliament for Prestia Huni Valley, Robert Wisdom Kujo, has warned that the Aboso community will be forced to rise up if nothing is done to stop the wanton evacuation of scraps, among other things, from the premises of the Aboso Glass Factory. Youth of Aboso have been unsuccessfully trying to resist what they see as the pillaging of the assets of the potentially major economic mainstay. Rama Smith has more.
The Aboso Glass Factory has been a subject of controversy lately. Some weeks ago, TV3 News reported that the youth in the community were resisting Gihog Distilleries Company's approval for linking Bear's company to access scraps from the factory. In a phone interview, the managing director of Gihog Distilleries Company, Maxwell Kofi Juma, however, stated that the directive came from a new investor who wanted the scraps to be cleared out. But the community has expressed alarm as even the roofing sheets are being stripped off, whilst the transformer that powers the factory has also been dismantled. Delaguda is the chairman of the Aboso Youth Group.
We new oven before a company no be cut down. He share anyway. On fan nani Olympio be your son to be new oven no.
The brand new oven was installed right before the company was shut down. It hasn't been used yet. Most of the machines are still in working condition. What's infuriating is that we see no assurance of revitalization efforts. Instead, it seems they are only interested in scrapping the existing equipment. Meanwhile, the Member of Parliament for Prestia Huni Valley Constituency, Robert Wisdom Kujo, is lamenting that the current government is intentionally collapsing companies, citing future global resources as an example.
The people who say so many things about one district, one factory, they have rather collapsed all the factories within our constituency. One, they've removed all the railway lines from Takwa throughout Huni Valley. Two, they are now scrapping glass factory. So we want the people to know that this is what is going on. From our investigation, they sold it for the cost of 8 million Ghana cedis. And that they've paid 4 million Ghana cedis to the government of Akufo-Addo, Bawumia, Kofi Juma, and then also those people who are the duty bearers for MPP in this constituency.
He describes as a deceptive tactic to pacify the community, a design showcasing the proposed new building for the factory. According to him, the community will rise up if this continues.
We've just seen a picture there that will be the new glass factory, which we believe that is just a joke. Because if we have new investors, they should come, settle down with the Nananom and all the stakeholders for us to know that these people have come for the glass factory and they are going to revamp it. Now, if after cutting all the machines and the metals and everything, which investor will come here to take over this factory again? Moving from here after this press conference, we don't see any action. What will follow is the demonstration by the whole youth in this municipality.
Rama Smith, TV3 News, Aboso.
We'll now go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll bring you more stories from across the country. Don't go away.
million children have benefited from free SHS. Protect free SHS, #1 on the ballot.
That's our bulletin for you this hour. I am Mawin Aigbeta.
And I am Kemeni Amano. But before we go,
join this handle or follow this handle on Instagram, 3news.gh. That's where you find all things newsworthy. I appreciate your time and company as always. Up next, it's the afternoon show.
Oh, bye from us.